You know, there's a really interesting difference between just being grown and actually being a grown-up. And it all boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful word: responsibility. It's not about chores or duties. It's literally the key that unlocks real maturity. It's what separates a life that just happens from a life you actually live.
So let me ask you this, straight up. Are you just getting older, or are you actually truly growing up? Because as we're about to see, those are two very, very different things, not even in the same ballpark.
And that's really the heart of it all. The difference isn't about how many birthdays you've had. It's about choice. It comes down to this one powerful decision you have to make, not just once, but every single day. The choice to grab the steering wheel and own your life.
All right, let's dive in. First up, we're going to draw a really clear line between being grown, which just happens, and being a grown-up, which you have to choose to be. Just look at the difference here. On one side, you have growing old. That's just biology, right? It's passive, it happens to you, and honestly, you don't have to do a single thing for it to happen. But growing up, that's a whole different story. That's a decision. It's something you actively do. It requires you to step up and take ownership of your actions, your promises, and your future.
Okay, so if growing up is all about ownership, what does the flip side look like? Well, irresponsibility isn't always some big dramatic failure. Most of the time, it's a lot sneakier. It hides right out in the open, in all the little excuses we make every day. We've all heard this one. Heck, we've all probably used this one. But stop and think about it for a second. Was the traffic only terrible for you? What about all the people who showed up on time? They drove through the same traffic. See, the excuse isn't really about an external problem. It's about an internal one, a failure to own your own planning.
And you see the exact same thing at work. Blaming an unclear brief just shifts the focus away from you. A grown-up, a responsible person, they ask a totally different question. They ask, what could I have done to get more clarity before I started? It's a tiny shift in words, but it's a massive shift from blame to action.
Or how about this one? The student who blames the test versus the student who owns their preparation. Here's the thing, they both took the exact same exam. The difference isn't about how smart they are, it's about responsibility. One person looks outside for an excuse, the other looks inside for a way to improve.
And this is so important to get. These little excuses are never just one-time things. When they become a habit, they pile up, they create a pattern, and eventually, that pattern isn't just something you do, it becomes who you are. It becomes your character.
So, if taking ownership is so great, why do so many of us run from it? Let's be honest. The answer is simple. Blame is comfortable. It's easy. In a weird way, it's kinda seductive.
This shows the trade-off perfectly. When you choose the victim story, you get a weird kind of comfort. Sure, you have zero power, but hey, you also have zero obligation. If it's not your fault, it's not your problem to fix. But the ownership story, that gives you all the power. But yeah, it comes with all the responsibility too.
I love this quote. Blame is a rocking chair. Think about it. It feels like you're doing something, right? You're complaining, you're analyzing, you're explaining, but you're not actually going anywhere. You're just rocking back and forth, burning energy, completely stuck. It's motion without progress.
The other big reason we run from this stuff is just plain old fear. Fear of failure. If you take ownership of something, you also own the results. And that means if it doesn't work out, well, that's on you. And for a lot of us, it just feels safer to not even try than to risk failing.
Okay, enough about the problem. Let's pivot and talk about the solution. What does being responsible actually look like day to day? Well, it's not some big heroic act. It's way smaller. It's just a series of small, consistent choices you make over and over again.
It looks exactly like this. It's the little things. It's leaving a bit early because you know traffic might be bad. It's admitting you forgot something instead of making up a story. It's owning what you said in a fight, even if you were upset. These aren't flashy or exciting, but these are the small bricks that build a rock-solid character.
And let me be super clear here, this is not about being perfect. Responsible people mess up all the time. The huge difference is what they do next. Instead of making an excuse, they look for a solution. Instead of passing the blame, they try to learn from what went wrong. And you know, the best part of all of this is that responsibility isn't some trait you're born with. It's a skill. Seriously, think of it like a muscle. And just like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. So how about we start a workout right now?
Here are 3 simple things you can do. First, keep your word, especially on the little promises. Every time you do what you say you're going to do, it actually rewires your brain. Second, own your mistakes fast. Just saying, "You're right, that was on me," doesn't make you look weak, it shows incredible strength. And third, stop waiting. Just ask yourself, what's the one thing I can take ownership of right now? And then go do it.
Now, when you start doing this, there's not going to be a parade in your honor. The reward for responsibility isn't applause or a gold star. It's something much quieter, much deeper. It's a prize that absolutely no one else can give you.
And that prize is self-respect. It's that deep down, unshakable feeling you get when you just know you're the kind of person who can handle their own life. It's knowing that you can depend on yourself first and foremost.
Ultimately, this is what it's all about. This is the whole game. Choosing ownership is what flips the switch. It's what turns you from a passenger getting tossed around by life into the person in the driver's seat. It is the fundamental difference between a life that just happens to you and a life that truly belongs to you.
So I'll leave you with this one question. Don't try to change your whole world overnight. It's much, much simpler than that. What is the one small thing you can take full ownership of, starting right now, today?